our June Messy Church. I bet you're wondering what we're going to be doing this month. Well, do you know, there's something a bit fishy going on up here. Let's go and have a look. This stone is really interesting because we've got a fish made out of stones. This one has got our Messy Church symbol on. Of course, if you haven't done one of these already, there's plenty of time for you to come and do one. Just go and collect a stone, take it home, put some paint on it, or even just write your name on it and bring it back and fill in our fish. So we hope that you're going to be able to enjoy doing that. But how about getting on with our activities for today? Well, we've got a few things for you. First of all, you're going to make an activity which you can try out at home. I wonder what that is. Do you think it might be something to do with fish as well? You'll have to wait and see. Then we're going to have a dramatic reading of a Bible story, and some of your friends are going to be involved in that, so watch out and see who you can see. Then we're going to make something. We're going to make something you can actually hold up and put in your window so people can see it. Then we'll have a prayer and some quiet time together, and we're going to end with one of our lovely songs. So I hope you enjoy Messy Church today.
Last time when we met, we were talking about how the fish can be a symbol, a secret symbol of being a Christian. Well, today we're going to be thinking about fish again. And this time we're going to be thinking about when the disciples got more than they bargained for. Have you ever ended up with more than you expected? Maybe for a birthday. Maybe your grandparents gave you something you weren't expecting. Today's story is about the disciples, and Jesus turned up and gave them much, much more than they could even believe was possible. Do you remember the Easter story and how Jesus rose from the dead? Then he appeared many times and was seen in lots of different places. His friends were often frightened and confused because they were missing him. But sometimes when they were all together, all of a sudden, there he was. I wonder if we are a bit frightened and confused right now. Well, here is one of the stories about Jesus appearing to his friends when they were frightened and confused. And it's told by some of our Messy Church children. Imagine Jesus' friends are out in their boat fishing.
This is hopeless. We've been out all night.
What if we caught not even a sardine?
Let's give up. I think I just want to go back to the shore and have a sleep.
Hey, you lot! Throw your nets on the other side!
So they did.
Look, just look, I can see hundreds of fish. They weren't there before.
What a catch! I've never seen so many.
Well, put the nets in quickly.
We're trying to, but they're really heavy. How come all these fish have turned up now?
Well, I don't know, do I? We need to get back to shore though quickly. There's so many fish that the boat's about to sink.
Wait a minute, this happened before that when Jesus asked me to follow him. What was that him shouting at us? Well, it certainly sounded a bit like him. I'm getting into the lake and to go and see. It must be him. Hold on, Peter. You'll drown. Wait till we get the boat in. No. I'm going to see. I'm sure it's Jesus.
Oh, let him go, you lot. Let's get the fish to land.
We've got loads to sell, and we can do some breakfast.
And so the others rowed to the shore, where they found Jesus had been doing some fishing of his own and was cooking his catch over a fire, with a wet but very happy Peter next to him. They had been surprised twice by Jesus. First, by him helping them to catch much more fish than they expected and nearly sinking the boat. But not only that, when they got back to the shore, Jesus was already ahead of them, having caught and cooked some fish ready for their breakfast. You see, Jesus always knows what we need, even before we do ourselves. And he knew that the disciples were feeling lonely and afraid without him. And so he came to them and gave them much, much more than they had expected. No doubt they were able to talk with Jesus while they ate the fish and tell him about how scared they were feeling. And he promised that he will give us exactly what we need, and we can always talk to him. We are never alone. During this time, when everything seems strange and different, why don't you tell God how you feel? He's always ready to hear us, always ready to listen. And now Louise is going to show us how to make our own fish symbol to help us remember this story.
Hello everyone, I'm going to show you some fish crafts today for you to do at home. Now for the first fish you need a piece of card or a piece of paper, even a piece of cereal box if you like. Carefully draw around your hand and then cut it out so that you have a rounded end where your wrist was. And that's going to be the head of the fish. And then you can decorate your fish. This one's been painted with some sequins stuck on, and you can do the same and perhaps get some stickers or buttons or something else that you can stick on. And then this one was done using just felt pens. You might recognise this is Nemo. When you're finished, you need to stick a lolly stick on the back with either sellotape or glue. And now for the next fish, you need to draw a nice big fish shape, again on card or paper. Cut that out carefully, and then for your first fish, we're going to do some printing. And I'm using a celery stick and just some paint, and dab it into the paint. And it doesn't matter if you mix the colours up because it actually makes a really nice effect. And you're going to start at the tail end of your fish and then just carefully dab along until you get a lovely scale effect. Here's one I made before, and you can see all the lovely scales. And for the next fish, if you don't have any celery, you can use just a spoon, and then just roll your spoon backwards and forwards in the paint. And you need to start at the tail end and just roll the spoon backwards and forwards, and you'll get a lovely scale effect like that one. And for the last fish, what you need for this one is some paper cases. You need to fold them in half and then cut along the line that you've made, and then cut them again. So that would be one cut and then another cut, so you end up with quarters. And then carefully, starting again at the tail end, put a little bit of glue just on the end and then pop it on your fish. And if you do it in layers, you'll end up with a very scaly fish. Now I hope when you'll try some of these crafts, and when you've tried them, it would be lovely if you could put them in the window for everybody to see. I hope you have fun doing these crafts. Take care. Bye now.
Dear Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need before we do ourselves. Just as you helped the disciples when they were in the boat and could not catch any fish, you were there ready to help. Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need.
Just as you spoke clearly to the disciples and told them where to throw their nets, you can speak to us today and tell us what to do. Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need.
Just as you provided so many fish for the disciples to catch, you will always provide more than enough for us too. Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need.
Just as you waited upon the shore until the disciples recognized your voice, you will wait for us to be ready to hear you speaking to us. Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need.
Just as you had already caught fish and were cooking before the disciples got back to the shore, you prepare things for us to enjoy with each other. Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need.
Just as you stayed and ate with your disciples and enjoyed being with them, you want to come and be with us. Lord, thank you for always knowing what we need. Help us to hear your voice and to trust you during these times when everything feels different. Amen. Amen.
Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Jesus. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Him. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Jesus. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Him. When I am alone, I know He's there. When it's dark, I know He's near. When I am hurt, I know He cares. I know He's bigger than all my fears. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Jesus. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Him. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Jesus. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Him. When I am alone, I know He's there. When it's dark, I know He's near. When I am hurt, I know He cares. I know He's bigger than all my fears. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Jesus. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Him. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Jesus. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in Him.
Well, have you enjoyed your messy church? Did you do Flap the Kipper? And have you made something to put up on your bedroom window? I hope you have. Don't forget, got some lovely ones here, and we've got all our instructions about how to make the stones. And over here, we've got some stones if you don't have any nearby. So, bye, and see you in our next messy church in July.